President Obama being interviewed by Chris Matthews yesterday. I got, I think, 3 sound bites from that I want to play for you. Here is clip number 1. This is Chris Matthews interviewing President Barack Obama.
We've had a politics, frankly, the entire Republican Party brand since Ronald Reagan has been government's the problem. And if you, day after day, week after week, election after election, are running on that platform, and that permeates our culture, and it's picked up by ordinary citizens who grow skeptical, then it's not surprising that over time trust in government declines.
Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is another winnable war moment for us. Do not miss the significance of what President Obama is admitting. He is admitting that conservatives have been so effective at communicating the message that government is not our friend, that big government is not our friend, that big government poses a threat of tyranny. We have been so effective in communicating that message that the American people actually believe it. And that makes it hard for us to convince people that they ought to trust government again. So that's a winnable war. President Obama is saying, look, these conservatives have just been too successful in getting their message out about the dangers and the incompetence and the ineptitude of big government. So apparently he just wants us to sit down and shut up, I guess, because exercising our freedom of speech persuasively is just completely gumming up his whole totalitarian agenda. Now listen to what President Obama says here in this clip about government, and then I want you to listen to the agitation in his voice when he talks to and about young people. Let's listen.
And government can't solve all of that. And we live in an economy that is global and technological and is changing faster than ever before in history. But government can't stand on the sidelines when we're doing that. And without some faith in our capacity for collective action, those trends are going to get worse. So we've got to, and young people in particular, have to understand government is us. Government's not somebody else. Government's us. We have the capacity to change it. Voters have the capacity to change it. Members of Congress do, as well as the president.
So when President Obama talks about collective action, that's just another word for socialism. That's just another word for communism. That's what collective action is. I mean, the Soviet Union was all about these collectives. So that's just a code word for socialism. He said, look, young people, and I want you to, I don't know if you caught the agitation. He's not happy. He's not happy with young people, and he's kind of lecturing them. He says, you've got to understand that socialism is the way to go. You're not getting the picture, because millennials are not signing up for Obamacare. 52% of millennials now want President Obama impeached. 52% of millennials, the people that voted him into office, they now are in favor of him being removed from office. 52% of millennials want him impeached. 57% of millennials do not like Obamacare. They want Obamacare repealed. And this is his major example of collective action. And when you ask them, are you going to sign up? Only 13% of millennials say they are definitely going to sign up. Now, that will be catastrophic for Obamacare because you have got to have at least 40% of the signers-uppers. 40% of them have got to be young people because they're going to pay for insurance that they're never going to use. And that money, the excess of their premiums over what they actually need for their own health care, that's going to be transferred to older senior citizens who have higher health care needs. So it's this massive involuntary redistribution of wealth from the young to the old. And they're onto the game. They are onto that thing, and they are not interested in participating. Only 13% say they definitely are going to do that. Now listen to clip 7. This is significant. President Obama, last clip from the Chris Matthews interview.
And the challenge, I think, that we have going forward is not so much my personal management style or particular issues around White House organization. It actually has to do with what I referred to earlier, which is we have these big agencies, some of which are outdated, some of which are not designed properly. We've got, for example, 16 different agencies that have some responsibility to help businesses, large and small, in all kinds of ways, whether it's helping to finance them, helping them to export, And so if you're a small business person getting started, you may think you need to go to the Small Business Administration on one thing, you've got to go to Commerce on another. So we've proposed, let's consolidate a bunch of that stuff.
This is amazing to me. I mean, did you get what President Obama said there? President Obama said the problem is that government is too big. Did you get that? He sounded like Ronald Reagan. The problem is the government is too big. There's no problem with my management style. It's flawless. It's impeccable. I am the Nelson Mandela of the United States of America. I am the incarnate Messiah. Nothing wrong with my leadership style. Nothing wrong with my management style. Nothing wrong with the organization of the team here at the White House. The problem is these, quote, big agencies, some of which are outdated, some of which are not designed properly. We've got 16 different agencies that have some responsibility to help businesses large and small. So now President Obama's excuse for his own ineptitude is what? The government is simply just too darn big, too darn bulky, just too darn inefficient, even compromising my brilliance.
Here's Twyla Brace, president of CCHF, with today's Health Freedom Minute.